Hi there and welcome back to the latest CEFA Mini Pod episode. Today we're delighted to be here with Jacob Sonne from Strategy and the theme of today's mini pod is lessons learned. Thank you so much for joining us, Jacob. My first question for you is, what does lessons learned mean to you?
First of all, thank you so much for having me today. Happy to do this interview. I think the most important lesson learned for me is being open and actually being open to learning new things and also get to know new people, both in regards to studying, but also actually on the work. Being able to listen to your co-workers and also the clients who often knows a lot more about the topic than you do. From my own perspective, I studied at CBS, where I took my bachelor in international business and also my master degree in finance and strategic management. And I think through my years on CBS, I've always tried to absorb as much as I could and get as many new impressions as possible. I also went on exchange to Pennsylvania. And I think it's a great way to actually challenge yourself to get into a new situation that you're maybe not that comfortable with, and then take the most out of it and take it with you to the next thing. Yeah.
How did your journey at Strategy and begin?
I've been with Strategy and for almost 3 years now, and it was my first full-time position after CBS. Yeah, the way started as it does with a lot of newly graduated students, that you through a very long interview process, and luckily it went very well. And I met some nice people doing that interview round. And then I started just after summer. I took a long vacation just after graduating, and then came back and started in September 2017. Okay. And has been there for 3 years now and done a lot of different projects, both within strategy and operations, and then we also do a lot within mergers and acquisitions.
Okay. So throughout these 3 years and the wealth of projects that you've been a part of, I'm sure, do any of them stand out to you as times where you really learned a lot that led to you growing professionally, personally? Does anything particular stand out to you?
Yeah, I think it's difficult to pinpoint one project in specific, but of course there's been some very challenging projects, long projects, short projects, but I think in general the ones I've learned the most of are the projects where you're together with a project team. There might be a manager and 1 or 2 other consultants with you on the team. Okay. And there you quite often have a great responsibility of not only managing your own time and managing your own work stream, but also coordinating with the team, and there might even be a project team from the client that you have to coordinate with. Yeah. So I think what I've learned the most is actually handling all those stakeholders in the project.
Definitely. When you become aware of having learned a lot in a project, how do you take the information that you have gathered and apply it to other projects?
Yeah, I actually think it's difficult to say, all right, that's the moment where I learned something new and I had that aha feeling. But in Strategy and we have a quite, you can say, strict process of feedback. We have them both doing the projects, but also both as a start and a project close loop, sort of say. So we have feedback with the team and the partners. And I think those sessions are actually really valuable because there you get to know and get some comments from your colleagues, and they say, all right, this went really well, and maybe next time you have to be aware of this. Yeah. And I think those moments are the ones where I say, all right, but that's probably right, and I should, in the next project, think about this. That could be of how you discuss in a problem-solving session, or it can be how you approach a client, how do you ask questions. It can be a lot of things, but I think, and it's coming back to what I said initially, being open. So getting feedback is key. Rather than hoping you get that aha moment and say, oh, now I became a better consultant. So I think it's a process, and it's probably mainly, I would say, actually through feedback. So trying it, and then getting feedback.
Trial and error.
Yes, that's probably the way.
Do you think that you've become better at that throughout time?
Yeah, probably. I would say when I studied at CBS, I also had a student position in a business development / strategy department. So I've been used to working in project teams, but I definitely think it's much more intensive when you're a consultant, and you maybe need to learn that you're not the smartest person anymore. You may well have been in the studies and always getting good grades, but suddenly you're surrounded by bright people, and I think hopefully it's a natural process and it's not a big shock, but I also think that it's something that you get used to and grow into, that you listen more to everyone, and they're probably also having some good ideas.
Okay. So listening is one of your top things that you've become better at and that you have seen as being very valuable.
Yeah, I think listening, but also explaining yourself. So of course it's valuable to have a meaning and a viewpoint on something, and often that's actually what drives a problem-solving session. So when you're sitting, it's not just listening and taking in what all the others says, but actually contributing to the discussion is also important.
Which probably takes quite a bit of confidence in the beginning when you're a new consultant.
Yeah, definitely, and being able to say something and actually say it in a way where it's not, all right, this is the only way, but this is my viewpoint, and I think this due to these three reasons, and that could be 1, 2, 3, and then we discuss based on that.
Yeah, definitely. So my last question for you, Jacob, is if you could go back in time and give your master's student self 3 pieces of advice, what would those 3 pieces of advice be?
Yeah, I think maybe as a piece of advice to myself, but also to everyone else studying, it is get a student job as soon as possible. Do something besides studies, and it's all right doing different things. So you don't have to find, all right, this is the job, and then do that for 2 or 3 years before graduating. And then also practice, like when you go to job interviews, and use your network, use your friends at CBS or wherever you study, and practice, because
practice cases or
going to a job interview is I would say it's not what you learn in school. So all the theories and all that's good, but you can say basic problem solving is a skill in itself. So practicing that is probably a good advice. And then attend as many events as possible, I would say. Go out and meet people from maybe consulting or some industry you're maybe interested in, and talk to them.
Yeah, that's exactly what we try to facilitate with CEFA, so great tip.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jacob.
Thank you very much.
And that was it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us again, and we'll be back next time with another episode with Strategy And, so keep your eyes peeled. Bye for now.